Commanders family, welcome into Next Man Up. We have Ben Sinnott on the show to talk about his infamous Taylor Swift play and to get us ready for our home matchup against the Chicago Bears. And of course, we had to bring a legend on. Brian Orakpo joins the show to talk about his cupcake business, his favorite memories in Washington, and how much he loves the Burgundy and Gold fans. All that starts right now on Next Man Up. 2, 3, kick. Commanders family, for our Next Man Up, we got somebody extremely special coming off of not only his first reception, but his first NFL career touchdown. Welcome my guy, Ben Sinnott. Man, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Appreciate you having me, man.
Yes, sir, man. The last time we've done this, we were in a whole new studio. Mm-hmm. You had just got drafted. Mm-hmm. So first things first, man, has anything surprised you since then? You're a rookie. What has surprised you about this NFL?
Man, I think you hear about it and they say that it's a strong opponent every week. But, you pull on the film and you look at the guys you're going against. It's just dudes everywhere on every team. It's like the talent that this league has, you don't even understand. And guys who aren't even big names, just ballers. So I think that's the biggest thing that surprised me is just like day in and day out, you're going to get the best of the best. And it's pretty cool to see and pretty cool to go and compete against that week in and week out.
Is the speed as different as they make it sound from college to the NFL?
Yeah, I think 100%. That's another thing. It's just like the windows for throws are tighter. The guys you're trying to block are bigger, stronger, faster. You got to be really on key with your technique and your fundamentals and stuff to really even compete. So it's such a blessing to be able to compete and have that competition.
Man, so we're going to talk a little more about football. Before we do that, I don't want to bury the lead. You got engaged, man. The last time we spoke, you were not an engaged man. Now you are, man. What has that been like, man? And how cool is it to be a fiance now?
I know. It's been great, man. I'm super excited. Her name is Sydney.
Yeah.
We've been together for about 2 years.
Hi, Sydney.
A little over 2 years. Hi, Sid. And it's great. Just being able to know that you're locked in with somebody. And she's amazing. Like, I love her to death. Someone who's continued to support me. Helping provide for anything that I need and someone who's just so loyal and just has my back, man. And be able to come home and see her. She's actually flew in today to come see me for a little bit.
Nice.
So just being able to go home to her and have that support, man, it means a lot. It takes a lot of stress off. Just being able to forget about work when I'm at home and focus on that. So.
Will this be wifey's first home game?
Well, she came to a preseason one. And then she came to last week.
Not
so
she was the good luck. Oh, not the
touchdown one.
Okay.
No. She's a little upset about it.
Oh, man. I want to say she's good luck.
But, yeah, she came to the week before. So hopefully there's many more in the future she'll see. So, she'll be out here.
I have no doubt that there's going to be many more, man. So you brought it up, so let's get into it. You get your first touchdown. First reception, first touchdown, man. Mm-hmm. What was that moment like for you? We talked about it right after the game. You came on Post Game Live, but, man, what was that moment like for you?
Yeah, you kind of are. I'm standing on the sideline, and Marcus comes over. He's like, "Man, we got to call Taylor Swift." And I'm like,
Taylor Swift.
I'm getting a little nervous because I know that that the play is designed for me to get the ball. And Cliff's like, "All right, let's do it." So we run out there, and my heart starts racing. We're getting lined up. I'm like looking at the defense. I'm like, "Oh man, I hope this works."
Yeah.
And he puts me in motion. I'm sprinting over there, I dodge a couple guys. It's not exactly how we pictured. Catch it. It's like falling out of my hands while I'm turning around. I'm like, please don't drop it. But when I caught the ball and realized that I had scored, it was so surreal. You hear the crowd, and it's just everything that you ever dreamed of as a kid, just all coming together, and a lot of hard work and tough times to get me to that moment. Waited 6 weeks for a reception, and it was definitely worth it. So it was such a cool experience.
And that's a big moment, man. We have our backup quarterback in. We're trying to put points on the board. We're in the red zone, and coach says we're going to go to our rookie tight end. Man, that has to boost your confidence, right?
Yeah, 100%. Just knowing that he is turning to me and has that trust in me to make that play, and when I get my opportunity and to catch it from Marcus too. Legend.
Yes.
Like legend. So like growing up watching him and and never thought that I would be catching a touchdown from him. So it's a really cool moment. And Marcus coming over to the sideline and being like, hey, let's run Taylor Swift, like, just shows a lot about who he is and the trust he has in me. So it was a really cool moment.
It's so funny, man, because right before you came in, Cliff Kingsbury did a presser, and he talked about Taylor Swift, the play called Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
So I know that you weren't really responsible for naming it of that, but like, is that kind of like, what are other names we have for plays that are like that? Like, you don't tell us the play, but what are those funny names that are like that?
Man, we got so many things in, we just start running out of stuff. Like, naming after pop stars, naming after other coaches, like, it's literally anything and everything, like random plays. We have no idea what the meaning is, but we're like, we need a name, like, and also like similar concepts. Like, you name something one thing and you want to run similar things, you got to keep building off of it, like random words. So it just takes you to places like you have no idea where they're going. So it's funny, but it definitely helps having the whole play in one word. So you just got to remember what you're doing. So.
And how great is that to have a guy like Cliff Kingsbury that allows you guys to, yes, this is work. This is his business. But clearly you guys are having fun as well. Clearly these are things that help build that camaraderie, man. Talk about Cliff Kingsbury a little bit, because last time we had spoke, you hadn't got to play under him yet. Now you're damn near halfway through the season, man. What's it been like?
Man, it's been great. And just another guy like you watch and what he's done in his career at every level. Yeah. So just be able to be with him and see how he operates, and he builds such a great atmosphere within the offense, and just allows us to have fun, but still, like, you got to get your work done. And it's funny, like, early in our rookie development, he would kind of throw us into the fire a little bit and be like, all right, do this, like, it's a walk through, like, ask questions and stuff, and throw us into the fire, 2 minute, get on the ball, running around. He's like 5, 4, like, he's just like making it hard on us. But he creates an environment that's so fun, and you never know what's going to happen the next day. And he's got such a creative mindset with football, and such a good staff around him as well to kind of keep things together. So it's a blessing to be able to play with him.
Like you said,
play for him.
Yeah, like you said, you never know what's coming. I think the defenses are the same way, right? Yeah. They never know what's coming. It seems like every week a different person in this offense is getting off. Now, I asked you this post game, but for those that didn't hear, who's the first person you embraced after that touchdown? We see the flex celebration. We saw you turn up. But when you went to that sideline, who's the first person you embraced?
Man, even in the end zone, Zach was the first person to sprint over and give me my flowers a little bit. So it's cool, man, just to have him in the tight end room, and I got to learn from and see him excited for me to score. It just kind of shows you what kind of person, what kind of player he is, and it was a really cool moment. And then, of course, Johnny ran over to celebrate with me, so it was cool knowing that you got those guys back, and the love that they have for me, and so it was a cool moment.
Yeah, and when you first got in here, you were excited about the opportunity to learn from Zach Ertz. So you can put it into words, man. What have you learned from Zach Ertz, a guy that has done so many great things in this league? What are those things that you take from him and you think about every day while you're on the field?
Yeah, I think just how to go about your business in the NFL. He's such a guy. 12th year in the NFL. He's played in the NFL longer than I've played football, man.
Wow. So it's crazy to think about.
I don't know the math, but like, seriously, like, he's been there, he's done it. So I think just seeing how he operates, seeing how he breaks down film, seeing how he operates at practice, how he prepares, like how he gets warmed up, ask him what he does in the off season, like when we get breaks, like how he operates, and how he keeps his body in shape. Because he's getting up there in age a little bit. Yeah. And his body is still in great shape, and it's cool to see. Just learning how to be an NFL player and go about your business. So.
And I'm sure it makes it a little easier having to sit and wait while you watch a guy like that play that you've been watching your whole life. However you said it, you've been waiting a long time for that moment, man. How did you stay locked in and stay focused and keep, any negative thoughts out of your head while you're waiting? Because, this is week 7 now.
Yeah, 100% it's tough. Going from college and being the guy and getting push comes to shove, like, we want to get you the ball. And coming into a new environment with Zach, with John, like really good tight ends. And it's also like we got Terry, we got all these guys. Like, man, who am I to say I need the ball when we got dudes on the team? So just being able to put your head down and work. I mean, I kind of just went back to my walk-on mindset at K-State, like being able to just stay patient, prove what you can do, earn that trust, and continue to just be ready for that when that opportunity comes. So, I mean, just staying down and just trusting who I am as a player and what I do at practice every day and show what kind of business that I'm here for. So, yeah, just staying patient, keep my head down, working, and then just eventually hoping that it'll happen.
And when people watch this offense, man, the word special gets brought up a lot. Feels like we're watching something special going on right now. Now, we know you're a rookie. This is your first stint at this. However, can you talk to that? And does it feel special to you right now? You're in the locker room. You're in these meetings. Does something just feel a little different about this team?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you feel it with each other. We got such good relationships within our offense unit and even with the team in general. So I would definitely feel like it's special. We got talent everywhere. We got great coaches, great game plans every week, and obviously we're doing really well. So I mean, it feels very special for sure. But I mean, we're just continuing to focus on what we do because I mean, Cliff put up a graphic in our meeting today, 30th best offense in the NFL, like preseason. That's what they said about us.
Yeah,
so
they did.
It's like these are what people think about us. Like we just got to keep doing us. Like they never thought that we would do what we do to this point. Let's just continue to prove them wrong and focus on what we're doing. So, I mean, that's just what we're going to continue to do.
I love that message, man, and we hope to see you guys do that this Sunday at home again against the Chicago Bears. Then before I let you go, what can fans expect to see from our Burgundy and Gold on both sides of the ball when taking on the Chicago Bears?
Yeah, man, just come out firing. Obviously, there's a lot of hype or whatever with the 1 and 2 picks, but we're just going to continue to do what we do, compete, put on for the best fans in the country, and just continue to attack and show what we can do.
Well, Ben, we appreciate your time, man. I'm glad the fiance's coming out here to support you. I'm sure she'll bring more good luck, and maybe we'll see you in that end zone again. And maybe, just maybe, you'll get some free Taylor Swift tickets now. You know, it's all the abuzz now, so maybe you'll get hooked up. Ben, appreciate your time. Commanders family, this is our next man up, our rookie tight end, Ben Sinnott. Ben, appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you.
Sir.
Now, Commanders family, for our next man up, we had to bring on a legend. This brother right here, 4-time Pro Bowler, played 10 seasons in the NFL and has one of the best Geico commercials I've ever seen. Welcome again, Washington Legend Brian Orakpo. Brian, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Glad to be here. Appreciate it.
Man, I'm so happy to have you here, man. You are a legend. Everybody knows who you are, man. And so we have you on the show just to talk about your time in Washington and really reminisce because it's so great to see all y'all legends come back into the fold as of recently and, you know, be a part of this squad. So, you know, we want to show you love. So we're going to start from the beginning. Your rookie year, right? Let's start at the draft, matter of fact, man. Did you know you were going to Washington? What were you thinking when you got that call saying you were being drafted to Washington?
Yeah, I mean, during that time, you got to remember, you know, we're all just young kids, you know, at the time, and you don't know which team is going to, you know, fall in love with you, draft you, you know. Washington was kind of on the radar, but it was so many other teams in play. And, you know, long story short, when I took a visit to in Ashburn where the facility was at, and man, it just, the whole tradition and everything that comes along with it just reminded me from my upbringings, you know, coming from the University of Texas, and we big on tradition. That's what Washington really represented. And I was excited. I was definitely hoping they would call my name. And, you know, there's a few other teams I was worried about, but man, it kind of fell into the right place. And long story short, man, I had a tremendous time there, had a great career, and I contribute that to we had a lot of hardships though, but you know, still some great times I had in Washington for sure.
Oh man, that rookie year, there was no hardship about what you did your rookie year, 11 sacks as a rookie. Now that you're on the back end, right? Now that you look back at that rookie year, what sticks out to you most about that first season here in Washington?
Just the unknown, you know, I mean, people got to remember too, I was a true defensive end, you know, coming up. And when my rookie year, I had to literally transition to a whole different position, linebacker at the time, sandbacker. I was doing so many different things I have never done in football in my entire life. So it was a huge transition, you know, but I was up for the challenge and to still go out there and to perform the best of my abilities. And yeah, I had some mistakes here and there, but just to still go out there and garner the respect from my teammates We had a very, very veteran group, and get the respect from those guys. Come in there, play an entirely new position, and then I got my feet wet when I was able to rush only on third downs. Man, it was a dream come true just to put on that Burgundy and Gold and go out there and represent Washington for sure.
Was there a little reluctancy when you first heard you were going to have to change your position when you get into NFL? Because you know, a lot of guys, man, they want to play what they play. They don't want to be told to change. Was there any reluctancy?
Yeah, no question. I hated it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I hated it. I really wanted to just do what I do best, and that's rush every down. That's where I was best effective at. It was all these calls and playing Sam Backer. This is a totally different language to me. But again, I was up for the challenge. I had great coaching to get me prepared and ready to go week one. And man, it was because it wasn't just the 3-4 backer. We were still a 4-3. I was actually off the ball. So it was completely different. But again, I was up for the challenge. I loved every minute of it, and go out there and still make an impact and do the best of my abilities. And man, it was just a dream come true, like I said.
Crazy to think you put up numbers like that in a position that you've never played before, a position you're not familiar with. But again, you got 11 sacks that rookie year. Now, your rookie class was stacked defensively, man. You have some of the best defensive players, maybe probably the best rookie class of defenders in that first round. So I got to ask you, man, do you think you should have got Defensive Rookie of the Year? Because I know Brian Cushing got it, but then I remember there was like a revote, right? And you were a part of that as well. Clay Matthews,
Sure.
I believe, man. Should you have gotten Defensive Rookie of the Year?
I definitely was a finalist, I believe. But no, I think Brian Cushing had a tremendous rookie year. I mean, you look at those numbers and, everything. I don't really care about all the speculation, things of that nature. I think he was rightfully deserved that award, and he still won it even when we did a revote. So, man, that's my brother, man. Brian Cushing, we're still boys, and, he deserved it rightfully so. And I was just glad to even go out there and even give him a run for his money. But yeah, still go out there, man. We had some tremendous players, defensive players, and I was glad to be a part of it and be one of them.
And after your rookie year, you're coming into your second year. Now you've mastered this new position as it feels, right? You have the numbers, you have the name for yourself. What was the hardest part about transitioning from being a rookie to just a pro in the NFL?
Well, now it's the consistency, right? That's the biggest thing where that transition. Now you're not just a spark plug, or you're not just a rookie coming in. That's the unknown. Now everybody's able to have a full year on you, watching film, your tendencies, the things you do good, the things you do bad. So that was a big transition for me, and that's why you see a lot of second year, third year players. They tend to kind of have a transition period where their numbers decline or things of that nature. So that's what I always tell a lot of young guys. You got to be able to change your game up. You got to be able to learn new things, and to where you can continue to have that consistency. Because the NFL is not for long, man, and they will continue. You have to be great, consistently good to be great, and that's something I had to learn very early.
You started your career off high. You kept being consistently great until I think maybe year 4 or 5. You have a bad, you tear your pectoral, which is crazy because we're gonna have a guy in Jonathan Allen that's going through the same exact thing early in the season, tearing his pec.
Yeah.
Back there and talk to us about that. Because I think, we see a lot about guys getting injured, but I don't think fans really understand the mental toll it takes, especially when you're already deep into your career. Can you talk about what dealing with that injury was like? Because I think that was like week 2 of the season when you were out. And can you just talk about what that recovery was like in dealing with that injury?
Yeah, it was, man, that was probably one of my biggest regrets. Obviously, you can't really control injuries, but probably one of my biggest regrets in the NFL and my NFL career, because that really derailed my Washington tenure because of those pectoral muscles, So with Jonathan Allen, similar situation. My advice, man, work extremely hard at rehabbing and getting back. But, we're workout warriors. That was my strength, was being overpowering linemen, and using my speed to my advantage. But, man, I wish if I can go back in time, I would have laid off the weight room so much, because I was just killing it with tearing my muscles at the same time, not even realizing that, because I've never been hurt before prior. Just, man, huge, get in rehabilitation, get right, do more stretching, do more flexibility. That's something I had to really learn throughout that process, and that probably would have changed a lot of things if I would have stayed on top of it and not been just trying to lift 500 pounds all the time, you know?
Well, I mean, I'm sure you're doing that as well because you got eyes on you, right? You have young guys coming in at this point that are looking at you and saying, okay, this is the standard for what an NFL star defensive player is. And we have a guy in Ryan Kerrigan. He's a coach now, but he was somebody that looked up to you at one point. He was a rookie when you were in that locker room. Talk about Ryan Kerrigan and what you remember from that. 'Cause I think it's so crazy, the fact that now he's a coach after doing so much here for Washington.
Yeah, RK, man, he was, man, oh, man, we had some great times together. We had some great years together. Man, he's such a silent but his play speaks very loudly, man. Because Brian actually coming from Purdue went through that same transition where he was just strictly a defensive end and had to learn the position on the fly in our 3-4 defense. And this is all different lingo to him as well. So literally it's deja vu what he was going through that I've already experienced. So all I tried to do was just be a good example for him. And man, he had a phenomenal career, man. I mean, I think he's the all-time leading sack guy in Washington and all types of records. And man, me and Ryan had a great tandem, and I really love being a teammate of his because he worked extremely hard as well. And me and him always had more of like a great friendship, great camaraderie, but we always had like a friendly competition battle within ourselves without it being spoken in existence. But we always wanted to make sure that we had other issues around the team, but the outside backers is something that this team, this organization never really didn't want to have to worry about. And that's something we took a lot of pride in.
We talk about that friendly competition. I got to imagine certain particular memories coming to mind, right? Like you said, y'all didn't verbalize it. However, I'm sure there was times on that field where y'all saw a particular quarterback and y'all were like, okay, I got to get to him most. I got to get to him. Do you guys have do you have any stories like that where you and Ryan were competing on the field, but at the same time making your defense better?
No, we weren't, man. When I tell you, it's so funny. Me and Ryan was so cool, calm, and collective, and like we weren't the rowdiest, loudest people on the defense. To be honest with you, we were very just chill, you know, and we knew when to pick our spots. As far as, particular quarterbacks, we never really talked about particular quarterbacks because we were always just trying to get whoever down, whether that's a rookie, a backup, or the best quarterback in the league. We literally approached each. And one thing I respect about Ryan, we approached the game and we treated it with respect each and every week, regardless of who was doing good, who was doing bad. It's something we took a lot of pride in. And hopefully the younger guys or people or the whole team can look at that and kind of like, learn from it and kind of just, hopefully they can get us over that hump. Because we didn't win a lot of games, but at the same time, we wanted to make sure that, we're moving in the right direction.
And I don't know if it was the commercial or just the way you played, but Orakpo ended up being synonymous with sack for a very long time in this NFL, man. So I have to ask you, who was your favorite quarterback to get your hands on? Who was your favorite quarterback to sack during your playing days?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've always told this, but growing up, it's always you don't want to have that awe factor when you're playing, but you can't help it when you're a young guy. And when I was able to sack, believe it or not, Brett Favre, that was somebody I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm in the NFL, because it's just, you've been watching these type of guys for so long, and you were a kid, and when these legends are playing out there, and you see Ray Lewis doing his defensive dance, his trademark, and now you're actually playing with the big boys. So my first welcome to the NFL moment when I was able to sack him, and it really showed me like, okay, man, you worked all this time, you put in all this work, this effort, and look where you're at today. You're sacking one of the best in the game. So that was probably my moment, for me.
Not many people can say they did that, right? That's a very, very big moment. So that makes me think, who was the toughest quarterback you had to face? Who's one of those guys that, so we talked to Leonard Fletcher about this a lot, too, those guys that just when you know you got to play them, the week's just a little different because it's a tougher preparation. Who was that one quarterback for you where you were like, man, this is a tough guy to face every time I see him on the field?
Man, prime Mike Vick. Mike Vick in his prime was unreal. You know, we had some other quarterbacks that was always a good challenge. But man, anytime we see Michael Vick roll in his prime, especially with all the adversity he went through and he was on a mission, and now we're in the same division. Yeah, he was a nightmare to try and get down, especially when he was rolling, man. So that's definitely somebody, and he's another one that we have a tremendous amount of respect for one another. And he was another one that, you know, like I said, he was just a nightmare to deal with.
And these young defensive guys, like I think back then, Michael Vick was very much so an anomaly, right? Like you weren't seeing that type of NFL back often. But now in today's game, that's all you see.
All
so
you see.
Guys watching, maybe there's some kids watching that are trying to be NFL, trying to be the next BO. What advice would you give them to slow down these mobile, athletic freak quarterbacks that could very well play running back or receiver, but decided to play quarterback?
Relentless, man. Being relentless, and at the same time, the biggest advice that I had to learn early on too, you cannot run right up the field and pass them, because once they get a flash of any type of pressure, they're gone. They're gone right up through that B gap, and that they're off for the races for another first down or for a huge yardage. So my thing was to always come back to the level of the quarterback. Don't run past the guys thinking the guys are going to run the loop and get a sack. Literally, if you run past the quarterback, just retrace your steps and hopefully just control that B gap as well. Because you got the big guys are getting double teamed and stuff in the middle. Man, those B gaps, if you're running wide, they're wide open for these fast guys like Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray and you name it. You know, even we got one of our own now, Jaden Daniels. So it's that is a tremendous task to go against. So just make sure you retrace your steps and stay active.
And Brian, that is a task our team has had to deal with all season. It seems like every week we are facing a mobile quarterback. So I know you've been locked in. I know you've been watching what the Burgundy and Gold are doing it now, man. Talk about what you're seeing. We'll start with the defense first, because we got some dogs in linebacker, Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu. I mean, the whole defense got some dogs on it. Have you enjoyed watching this new look Washington team?
Oh, absolutely, man. I tell every time. Sorry, my phone's going on, but I tell every time, like, I wish I got drafted in this era. You guys are rolling, man. So yeah, I kind of have a little envious of that. But all honesty, man, this organization, this team, fans, they deserve this. You know, they've been through a lot. You know, through mediocre teams, bad teams, semi-good teams, whatever the case may be, but this team has a chance to be somewhat special, to move in the right direction. And from what I've seen so far, man, this team has a chance. Especially this NFC East is pretty open, and you guys are controlling that as well. So I'm extremely excited for the future of this team moving forward for sure.
Brian, you mentioned this fan base, man, an incredible, incredible fan base. I mentioned this to every legend that comes. It's so interesting to me that you guys play for multiple teams, but Washington always ends up being home. Why? Yeah. I mean, outside of being drafted here, of course, and having, you know, your best parts of your career here, what about Washington makes you say, you know what, this is going to be home for me, even though you have played for other teams?
Man, the fans. The city is just amazing, man. The fans. That's the honest to God truth. I can come in right now, go through the airport, and it's like I never left. Fans just love the players that played hard. They love they'll get on us when we play terrible or whatever the case may be at the time. But man, they will respect guys and show you nothing but love for the remainder of your life and your career or wherever for the guys that just played hard and gave it everything they can. And did the best they can on that field. And I was fortunate to receive that same respect from the fans. And that's why I've always tried to show them love, because this is the reason why we do it, right? You know, and we always want to win and win, you know, that last man standing and win the Super Bowl. But one thing about those fans, they're always going to show, like I said, I'm going to say it again, they're just going to show love to the players, that it really means something to them. And they're going to go out there, whether you win, lose, or draw, they're going to give you every sweat, ounce of blood, tear, you name it. and go out there and try to perform to the best of their ability. So yeah, for my answer would be definitely the fans for sure.
And Brian, you definitely left it all out there on that field, man. Before I let you go, give me your favorite Washington memory while you were playing here, since you've retired, whatever that memory is. What is your favorite memory involving the Burgundy and Gold?
Man, that's a great question. I will honestly say I remember. Oh man, that's a great question. Probably that 2012 season, that RG3 year. That was insane. That was insane. I felt like that was probably, and I don't want to, it's not a particular memory, but just being down, I forgot what our record was at the time, but had a losing record, and then able to win so many games in a row, in the city and team and the chemistry, everything was going just insane. I would say that was probably one of our fondest memories, just being a part of that as well. So that was great and I was hurt at the time, but just to see, because I dealt with the pec, remember, but just to see what this city's been through, what this team has been through, and for the team to rally and get behind one another and come back, even starting off the season with 3-6 or whatever the case may be, and win the remaining to clinch the NFC East and get a home playoff game. That was tremendous.
I think that speaks to the type of player you are, because your memory is a time when you weren't even on that field, but you were just watching your team do something special. And even though you weren't able to contribute, you still enjoyed watching that success, man. So, Brian, thank you for sharing that. And you have decided to have even more fun off the field now that you're retired. I don't know if there's anybody that has a cooler job than you, man. You make cupcakes with a former teammate. You have your own business, man. Talk to us all about that.
Yeah. So we were, I wanted to kind of, we're on that back 9-year career, football, you can't play it forever. So I just wanted to get some entrepreneurship under my belt. So, it was a cupcake business down in Nashville, and reached out. They were huge fans at the time, and I wanted to come in and just pick their brain a little bit. And they didn't have any locations in Austin, and that's where I currently live. And just wanted to get it done. Myself, Michael Griffin, we called them, we made some meetings, and we put one in Austin, and it literally took off like wildfire. And man, I couldn't ask for any type of better situation to kind of learn something from scratch, but then make it such a successful business. And that's what we were able to do. And man, I contribute everything to Gigi's Cupcakes because it helped me learn the franchise game. That's something I wanted to do. And now I'm able to do a lot of other different things just literally based off of that one business. So definitely have a lot of fun at the time. And I was still playing at the time, baking and decorating cupcakes and still going out there trying to sack the quarterback. So it was pretty fun.
Did you ever see yourself becoming a baking enthusiast like this? I can't imagine when you was playing at UT, bro, you was making cupcakes at your door.
Man, no, not at all. But in today's day and age, man, and everything that goes viral and TikTokish and whatever the case may be, it was such a catch-22 to find a big 260-pound 6'4" linebacker that now he puts on a pink apron and bakes and decorates cupcakes, and that whole story itself took a life of its own. And I was glad to be a part of that because it was so much fun.
A man of many talents, NFL player, a baker, and also, as I said earlier, an actor, man. Before you go, bro, the Geico commercials, man, how does that come about? Because I don't think we've really seen anything like what you were doing. Like, you see a lot of quarterbacks get things, but as a defender, I think you're one of one, man. I mean, you were out there killing it. Like, I remember these commercials you had.
No, that was, again, they were just, man, Orakpo, that time was just special. It was a special time, man, especially when I was rolling. They were based out in the DMV area, and, they reached out, and, man, I'll never forget it, man. Eric Schuster used to work at them at the time as well. Put the call in. We made the introduction, and they loved my voice. They loved what I brought to the table. They seen, obviously they're big Washington fans at the time. And man, we just went to California and made it happen. Got to meet the whole staff that put together all the Geico caveman. I've seen the actual actors. I've seen everything. So, like you said, quarterbacks and the guys that score the touchdowns are the ones that get those type of gigs. And for them to reach out to me, that was really, really special. Even my kids today, my kids are grown as hell, but they love showing off to their friends at school, all the different commercials and things I've done. So, yeah, it's kudos to them for making it work for sure. It was a lot of fun doing it.
And I'll tell you what, Orakpo means sack plays rent-free in my head every NFL Sunday, man. What a legend you are, man. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us and talk to us, man. Let me tell you, the Commanders family, they love you and they miss you, man. And hopefully we have you, in studio at a game pretty soon, B.
Yeah, we'll make it happen, man. I appreciate you all for having me. Definitely. We'll make that happen.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Commanders family, our next man up, a true legend, one of the best sack artists to ever play the game, Brian Orakpo. Thank you, brother.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Commanders family, we hope you've enjoyed this episode of Next Man Up. And if you haven't caught the other episodes, you can check those out on the Commanders YouTube page or catch those wherever you listen to your audio podcast. This is Next Man Up. I'm your host, Brian Orakpo Jr. Until next Friday, I'm out.